Brandy. This is Hound Dog Hollow, and today we're going to be getting ready for the upcoming full moon on October 1st in Aries. So this full moon is the first of two full moons in October. I consider it the blood moon, and the second one the blue moon. It's completely up to you what you feel like calling those moons. That's your business. I'm just setting up a page in my book of shadows for the notes today. So okay, so I know it's October 1st, but I'm just going to check what time it comes in my area, but also I'm going to log in on my phone because I can see comments quicker. Hold on. I also want to check what time exactly it is at. Okay. So I have an app that I use. It's called the mooncalendar.astroseek. And so that link, all the links, you guys would be so proud of me. All the links are already in the description box. Any book, almanac, deck, or website that I talk about today is almost entirely in there. So in my time zone, which is Pacific Standard Time, the full moon's going to be Thursday, October 1st at 14:05, which is 2 in the afternoon in Aries. Okay. Hi, Margie. Thanks for joining us. I'm trying to find my own live, and I'm having a moment here. Boop, boop. There it is. I have to watch a commercial to get to my own live. I'm sorry. Hi, Mooncrone. Hello. Hi, Lori. Yay. We have so many people here today. So you might have noticed that when you're coming into my live, there's artwork. For a little bit during my first year of the Witch's Moon, they had, maybe first and second, they had a couple of these moon art, and they are divine. I happened to get the blood moon, which is to me, the full moon in October is the blood moon. And it's really pretty. It has a lot of information. So it says the elements are air and water. The zodiac is Libra and Scorpio. Celestial influence is Venus, Mars, and Pluto. Colors are black, blood red, gray, gold, indigo, orange, silver, violet, and yellow. Other names are bright moon, dying grass, falling leaf, harvest moon, hunter's moon, moon of the changing seasons. So for me, harvest moon is the moon before. Shedding moon, 10 cold moon, travel moon, vintage moon, winter monoth, winter filleth, which is Old English. Hello, Kisa Hecate, thank you. Oh, I know Mooncrone. It's really nice. So magical beings associated with this moon are Anku, Anubis, Astarte, Baron Samedi, Cerudin, Situtolo, which I said wrong, Demeter, Disir, Durga, Ereshkigal, the Fae, Freya, Hades, Hanlun, Hathor, Hecate, Hel, Holly King, Isis, Kali, Lakshmi, Laris, Lemuras, Loki, Mamam, Birjet, Mania, Mata, this one's hard for me, Nemonsin, Moire, Morgan, Ma, Nephthys, Odin, Osiris, Persephone, Pluto, Puka, Ran, Santa Muerte, Saturn, Shinigami, Velez, and Yama. Animals are black and ginger color animals: bat, boar, cat, cattle, crow, deer, dog, fox, frog, hare, horse, jackal, owl, pig, raven, rooster, scorpion, serpent, spider, toad, and vulture. Plants, or says botanicals: angelica, anise, allspice, apple, balm of Gilead, bay, belladonna, blackthorn, broom, burdock, calendula, catnip, cedar, chrysanthemum. cinnamon, cinquefoil, dandelion, dittany, frankincense, garlic, gourd, mandrake, mugwort, mullein, myrrh, sage, sandalwood, sweetgrass, tobacco, vervain, witch hazel, wolfbane, wormwood, yarrow, and yew. Stones and crystals are amber, apophyllite, beryl, bloodstone, carnelian, cat's eye, charoite, fossils, geodes, jet, kyanite, labradorite, lapis, mica, moonstone, obsidian, opal, sosolite, selenite, smoky quartz. It's got sosolite twice. Stilbite, sugilite, tanzanite, topaz, tourmaline, turquoise, and lexite. So intentions. I'm sorry if I'm going so fast, guys. Intentions, the time to let go, releasing the old, unhelpful thought patterns, behaviors, and attachments through ritual purification, cleansing and banishment, a time to remember and honor the earth and those who have passed, a time to visit liminal spaces, graves, crossroads, hollow grounds. I mean, even doorways are liminal spaces if you think about it, right? Leaving special and specific offerings to properly demonstrate gratitude, a time to make contact with the dead and assist them on their journey to peace. I would not undertake that unless you're really confident. You can always connect with your ancestors and whatever dead that you want, but assisting somebody on their journey to peace, especially if they're not ready or if they're not in a good place with you. I hate to say malevolent, but it happens. I would not recommend that unless you can handle. Do not write a check that your butt can't handle. A time to divine future fortunes and propositions for the forthcoming seasonal shift, new or burgeoning relationships and success relating to livelihood and wealth. Really good information. Hi, Jennifer. Hello. I'm so excited for October. It's my favorite season too. I'm doing a shameless plug, but on hounddoghollow.com, which is my website, I actually posted a blog post about my feelings going into autumn. And it's part of my series called The Turning of the Wheel. And I think you guys might like it. I don't know. Please check it out, hounddoghollow.com. And I will be posting, I'm working on, it's not quite done yet, but it will be done in the next day or two, the magical correspondences that we already talked about at the Mabon Get Ready With Me last week. It'll be summarized and in a really direct, like check bullet point on the page here the next day or two, because for some people it's really challenging to sit through 2 hours of conversation and when we get off track, gosh, I know the word for that, but I'm just like, we have a medical word for that. God, oh, tangential thinking. When you go off on a tangent. So it's really straightforward for those of you that just want, like, what do I need to know about fall and this season and what it means? So thank you, Keats of Hecate. So yes, I'm so excited for this season. It's my favorite season. The 3 major themes are, of course, in autumn are gratitude, balance, and reflection. And it, of course, really reflection is where we're getting deeper into the fallow period that's going to come between Samhain and Yule. What the heck? Oh, the cord of my computer. I was like, why can't I move forward? But oh, cool. That's awesome, Moon Crone. So you either have a Libra and a Scorpio, or 2 Libras or 2 Scorpios. 2 Scorpios might be rough. I'm sorry. My husband's a Scorpio. And you never know when that stinger's gonna. Hi, Uncle Badger. Thanks for joining us. Jennifer, that's cool. Okay, I'm going to go over here and pull that up so I can read them quicker. All right, and just to begin, so Thursday, October 1st at 2:05 Pacific Standard Time in the United States is when the moon is going to be full in Aries. Hi. So, what does that matter? Why do I want to know the specific time? Because to me, and of course, take my information with a grain of salt, just how I practice. You do whatever feels right for you and what feels correct for you and what resonates with your spirit. So there's no judgment here. There's no gatekeeping, none of that. What I will say is if I am doing something for like attraction or accumulation or I'm sorry, culmination or things that I'm wanting to attract, I always try to do it on the full moon, but before the moon begins to wane, right? And then after the apex, it'll begin to wane. Traditionally, I don't practice attracting stuff on the full moon at all. I believe that that's a new moon thing. But after the moon is full, that's typically when I practice, because for me, full moons are about gratitude and release, and also about reflecting on the goals and intentions that I set when the moon was new in Aries 6 months ago. So that's really important to me because when I set goals on or intentions on the new moon in whatever astrological sign, for me, I expect it to come to fruition by the time that the moon is full in that same astrological sign. So approximately 6 months. That's my practice. That's what works for me. And so when the moon is full, I am also reflecting on like, okay, let's see, what month are we in? In March, I set this intention in Aries to do all these things. How did it go? Did it go well? Did I achieve what I set out to do? If I didn't manifest the intention that I had set, what went wrong? Was it not the appropriate timing? Was my wording not very good? Have I manifested it and I just haven't realized it? Is it just not something that is meant for me in this moment in life? There's always a reason. I don't ever really think that our magic fails. I mean, yes, you may feel that way and that's totally for you, but I don't believe that there's ever failure because I either learned something or I learned something no matter what. I learned that my timing's not correct. I'm rushing something. I'm impatient. Oh, it's an Aries. The next full moon is and a funny way to remember that, Jennifer, is that always the moon, when the moon is full, it's in opposition to the sun. So whatever the polarity is of the sun sign, which is Libra, is going to be the moon that's full. Unless you have two in the same month, and that's a little bit different. So basically, Aries, the sign of self, the first sign of the zodiac, the fool, basically, the beginning of the journey through the zodiac. Aries is the sign of self. And Libra is its polarity, its opposite, its exact opposite, because Libra is a sign of partnerships and relationships, right? So it's always nice on the full moon to try and work those two together, because Libra season is still taking place. It's still a time of partnerships. It's still a time of relationships. It's still a time of beauty and balance. However, Aries energy is like about self. So how can we reconcile those two? Oh, wonderful, Jennifer. I love astrology. It's my favorite. And I have a series, but I've been kind of behind. I have lost my train of thought. Basically, it's nice to try and balance those two things and really zone in your magic for right now. So when was the new moon in Aries? Hold on, let me pull that up. That was, I want to say March. Boop, 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 boop. So Tuesday, March, and this is something for me. You don't have to do this. I'm fascinated with my progress in life. And not that it's a contest, but you know what I'm saying. And I like to see where I've been. And that's not something I'm going to go through on my lives, only because I think one of the main things that we kind of personally, I believe, is that like when you do work, one of the main points of the witch's pyramid is to be silent. You shouldn't tell people about it just because, like, number one, not everybody wishes you well. And some people are pretending or socializing or coming up to you and they don't necessarily have the best intentions for you, or even if they're just negative about it, or they don't think you deserve it, or they don't think that you need it, or they don't, whatever the negativity is, I do believe that it can affect you and affect your working. And that's just my personal opinion. Jennifer, I actually have a really cool series. I mean, I think it's cool on astrology, and it's tons of information. I also wanted to learn my natal chart. I will tell you, just spoiler alert, the best book that I have ever found for that endeavor, learning my natal chart, was Astrology for Yourself. It's a workbook. I don't write in the book because I don't like doing that, but I write in my book of shadows, and it is amazing. I have learned so much. It has helped me really, truly understand not just my natal chart, but astrology in general, the fundamentals, the building blocks, why Aries energy is the way that it is, how these things interact, what they mean in general. It was a very good book. I actually have a list of resources for that in those lives. So Astrology for Yourself is my favorite. I think that there's a ton of information in the only astrology book you'll ever need. However, I think it's a misnomer. The Stars Within You is amazing, A++. That's a really good one too. And then what else do I have? Because I have them stacked over there. Then it gets into more specific things, but I would check that out. I would check those out if you're super interested. I honestly think that I will have time. No, I'm going to try to make time to go live next week on astrology, but I have a thing for grad school, so we'll see how that goes. Anyways, every time I start with sharing information, and so I will say that one of the primary sources of information that you probably use, because you're here on YouTube with me, is the internet. And so there's lots of sources on the internet that are really helpful, and they are particularly helpful because a lot of them hire astrologers who do a forecast for this specific moon, taking into account the astrology, the astrological influences that are happening right now in real time. So the first link that I put in the description bar is called the moon phase, basically where you can find your moon phase, moon sign for your town, because a lot of your almanacs are not going to be specifically in your time zone or in your time. So please keep that in mind. The second one is Spirit de la Lune, which is a favorite of mine. There's also Tamed Wild as a new moon report, but I think their blog is not called Tamed Wild anymore. It's called like Magical Alchemy. And the Witch's Box has a really, really good astrology report for all sorts, for the new moon, the full moon, and usually the dark moon. So I would definitely check them out. They're very good. And they even go so far as to say, like, you know, you're going to be particularly affected wherever such and such is transiting through your chart. So if your rising sign is in here, this is how you're going to be affected, or this is the area of your life that's going to be affected, which I find very personal and very helpful. Another source that's not in my list is spiritdaughter.com. She does little booklets about deep dives into the new moons, the full moons, and the astrological season in general. So it's really helpful. They're not that expensive. I think to get like the digital copy is like $7, which isn't bad because it has all these activities and meditations and so on and so forth. I myself probably am not going to be getting those anymore, just because I just, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like I'm at this point where I'm advanced enough to have a really grasp of like what I want to be doing, but not quite. Oh, Lord have mercy. But I've accidentally clocked out of my own life. Maybe. But not quite advanced enough to like cast my own charts, or maybe I could if I wanted to, but I really don't want to. I don't have the time for that. So those are good electronic resources. I think that when be careful how you talk to yourself. When my website gets a little more traction. Hi, Patricia. Thank you. It's been a week. It's very hard because I went back to work physically and I have to drive through the remnants of the towns. that burned down there and back, and so it's been challenging. However, it was nice to get out of the house. It was nice to be home. So at some point in the future, I will probably have an astrologer attached to my page that will go out with a newsletter. That is not what's happening now, but in the future. So those are web resources. Of course, you can always do Google, and Pinterest has lots of information. I would caution you, though, please find your information from multiple different sources. Number one, some people have an agenda. Number two, some people don't know their information very well, and so they may be telling you half truths or information that is not complete. And secondly, everybody is different, and everybody has different skills and different backgrounds and different spiritual beliefs. And so when you get your information from a broad amount of voices and resources, you really get a more complete picture of the information available. And then I caution you even further to not just accept that information, but to synthesize it and make it real for you, to do what's good for you, to do things in the best way. Because ultimately, magic and spirituality are deeply personal practices, and they should only be, not only, there's never only, there's never only, there's never always, there's never never. They should be, you should take other people's opinion with a grain of salt, and you should really be in tune with yourself and try to do things that resonate with you and make you feel more connected to the divine, not less, right? And for baby witches who are watching, that's not to say that you're going to feel like this all-encompassing, earth-shattering connection the first time or the 20th time or the 700th time, but you will feel it sometimes, and you will get a connection with yourself. And really, one of my favorite proverbs is, I went to search for God and I found myself, or something like that. It goes like that somewhere. I'll pull it up at some point. Know yourself. That's one of the best things that a witch can do, no matter what your background, is to know yourself. It really empowers you. So then we transition into books. This is an oldie but goodie. I got both the new one and I like them too. Keys of Hecate. I like them too. They're great. And I was doing that when I started getting them in the moon box, but I have kind of fallen off because, number one, I've fallen off. I've just barely started getting in my own book of shadows, and I hadn't written in it for a month. So I am getting back into my own groove, and when I get back into my own groove, I like to sink into my habits and then add other things because it feels more comfortable. It feels more like coming home when I go back to my habitual practices as opposed to adding on. But that's just for me because I'm going through like a lot of turmoil in my life. Of course, and not just baby witches should be careful with information. All people all the time should be careful with information, even with your science, your news, your politics, even with your laws, everything. You need to be very careful to use your common sense. And if you don't have very much, which has been systemically, taken away from us, just the act of looking for other resources and questioning will help you build it. So critical thinking, people, humans, please critical think. It's funny because I don't usually participate very much in witchy social media communities just because I feel like they're very aggressive, and they're especially microaggressions and passive aggressiveness. And after the fires, a lot of people really wanted to gather the ash to use magically, which my husband and I are baffled by that because it's so painful and terrible for those of us who experienced it. But for other people who are far away, what just felt like a good thing to use magically. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. I may gather some ashes for us at some point if it feels correct to do so. And I have gathered ashes from happy things like a campfire that my sister started with my husband under a beautiful full moon during a camping trip with the family. Those kind of things I like to save them for. But people were posting there. A person posted that they were going to make moon water with the ashes. And for those of you who don't know, moon water and ash is not good for consumption by animals, by us or animals. I know this because we had to clean our animals' water every single day, which was really challenging when you don't have any water running. My husband had to empty out our water heaters to give our animals clean water. So I mentioned it to this person that please be careful. Do not use it for consumption. It can make lye. It makes alkaline water, but it can make lye if you don't want to consume that. And this person just like jumped in my shit. They were not pleased with me. And somebody's like, oh, I said I was going to use it for magic, not for consumption, was the one person. And then her friend was also like, oh, it needs heat. And I said, well, I'm not criticizing you. I'm just saying magic looks different for everybody. And some of us are kitchen witches, or we bathe in it. And with the right amount of heat, if you were to put some of that in your soup or tea or bath, will make it lye. And you don't want to put that on your body. And they were really, some people were mad at me. Some people were really like, she's just trying to help. I apologize for upsetting this woman. And then she's like, well, then just stop talking to me. And I was like, okay, bye. But suffice it to say, please get your information from multiple sources and be careful. You don't want to accidentally make moon water that you intend to water your plants with that's full of fucking lye and kill your plants, please, or your animals, or you put it on your body or in your hair or in your food. So just get your information from multiple sources. People are not trying to be bad people most of the time, I don't think. And what might seem like a good idea or good information is actually can be hazardous, not entirely true, or flat out like wrong, which I hesitate to say wrong just because like in spirituality, I don't really think there is a wrong, right? But it would probably not be correct to have moon water that you want to water your plants with that is actually lye. I'm just throwing it out there. I digress. Get your information from lots of places. Oh man, Bonnie Lake. Oh, I told my husband that I wanted to move to Buckley, where they used to have that haunted house. But my husband and I met and used to live in Philip, so I know exactly who you are, Patricia. That's wonderful. It was on one of my Facebook pages. I want to say like Oregon Witches or Oregon Pagans. Normally a pretty easygoing page, except for like they're militant about some things. It's very weird. It's very weird what people will get their panties in a bunch about. And I think for the most part, stay in your lane and mind your business, which I typically try to do. But I, honest to God, just didn't want this woman to make moon water that she was going to drink and poison herself. So I felt like I needed to tell her, and she was not grateful. So I digress. I know. And I mean, if you wanted to hex, that ash would be amazing. The pain, the suffering, the rage of that fire, the ash would be amazing if you wanted to hex. It would probably be really useful in protection magic as well, which is why I am contemplating gathering some from certain areas of my property. But I can't really think of very many other uses except for maybe black salt, maybe making an ink to write sigils out of for protection, and hexing is really things that I would think of. I would like, for protection, I would consider it. I am considering it. But I mean, this was literally, I saw this post literally like 2 or 3 days after a fire had burned all of our houses down. And number one, it felt tone deaf. And number two, it felt, I don't know, just not not the right moment for that. But I guess if you don't live where it is and the ash is falling out of the sky, then you kind of have a limited time frame to collect. But we're half an hour in and I haven't even started, so I'm so sorry. Oh man, Margie, that's awful. I don't know how I feel about that, because constitutionally you have the freedom of religion. You can practice whatever religion you want, and it's your business and your house, and people should stay in their lane. But I'm glad I don't live in Maryland. Oh, yikes. Again, people should just stay in their lane and mind their business. The world would definitely be a better place if more of us did that. Catholic, I get. Catholic, I get. Yes. But as I've had many conversations with my father-in-law, Catholic is as close to witchcraft as you can get and still be Christian, except for now there's Christian witches, which I totally understand. I get it. But like Catholicism is, to me, really witchy. The incense and the candles and the praying to your saints and the chanting and all of the very ritualistic movements, and I love it, but it's very witchy. It definitely just said, there's all these pagans doing these things. Let's just call it Christianity and roll with it. And that's what I feel like Catholicism is. Jesus is the dying God, exactly. And that's one of the things that I really liked about one of the books I read last year, is when you think about descent, this is a theme for descent. Jesus is obviously one of the gods that descends into the underworld and is reborn. And that's totally meaningful, right? And the blood of the lamb and the metaphors, it's so wonderfully rich, but totally witchy. It just blows my mind that people get so angry about stuff that is so similar and familiar. Yes, of course, it is to a degree, and it depends on how you practice it too. People of indigenous and Latino and African descent who were forcibly converted, it's much more clear the pagan and indigenous roots underneath that Catholicism in things, in certain areas and cultural upbringings. So I will say that for certain. Oh, Margie, I'm sorry. My mom cried when she found out. I don't know why, because nothing has changed and I'm not mean or evil, but it is what it is. I think she's okay with it now. But I'm not like killing chickens. Well, I do for eating, but not for magic. Or hurting babies or anything, but I digress. So, energy that you might harness when the full moon is, so the sun is in Libra, which we talked about, the polarities and the opposition. The full moon element is fire, and of course the sun element is air. Suggested ritual themes are spells to advance your social situation, because Aries has ambition and Libra has a partnership, right? Finding new friends, partnership, new things. Adding passion to your romance, fiery relationships, those things, see how they're balancing those two themes. Work on music or use your favorite music and ritual. Rise to a challenge in a fair and honorable way. I hear you, Jennifer, but I have a 5-year-old, so temper tantrums are kind of like, we had one today. It was weird. I've been told I have a heart of my mother who died last week. Oh, Margie, that's beautiful. I'm sorry your mom died, but having her heart is really meaningful. That would be a wonderful compliment. Oh, Uncle Badger. I would say, Mama, if you're wondering to what end am I practicing, I'm practicing to know myself and to know, to make meaning of my life and of time and space and reality is why I'm practicing. But also for me, the number one thing is it gives me comfort and presence It helps me be present in my life, which I've talked about in other venues as well. Jennifer, we are all sinners. Even good, wonderful Christian people are sinners. That's like, if she's really religious, then she knows that we're all sinners. And I posted a really funny thing. I got to show my mom after this, but I posted it on my Facebook page and I got to post it on my thing. And it's just a picture of Jesus with his sacred heart, but he's also got like, I think it's like a cigarette and sunglasses. And he goes, if you don't sin, Jesus died for nothing. And it was just very, very sacrilegious, but very cute to me. I thought it was very funny. Oh, that's good, Uncle Badger. Get that. Philosophically, I love philosophy. It's a comfort to maddening times, right? All right. So, why am I not? Oh, I'm missing lunar spells. Okay, there we go. Sorry, guys. So basically, Aries energy. Aries is a time of beginning and planting seeds physically or symbolically. Do you sense something stirring you now? Do you feel inspired to begin something new, break new ground, or birth a part of yourself? Because the ward guard Mars, Aries, or Airs, actually, I say Aries, but it's Airs, in Greek tradition rules this sign, you may seek out challenges, adventures, and physical activities. The fiery energy of this period can help you fuel ambitions and desires. So, spells you might consider. The strong activating energy present with Aries helps jumpstart spells for new endeavors. If you're facing a challenge, hope to best an opponent, or need some extra vitality or courage, such as in an athletic event, for example, consider doing a spell at this time. Want to stimulate movement in a situation or remove an obstacle? Aries' fiery energy can provide zing and speed up the process. Spells cast at this time often manifest quickly, but their results don't always endure long term. That's the thing. Aries is good for starting, but not keeping it going. So keep that in mind. The next one, though, is Taurus. And Taurus, the full moon in Taurus is an excellent time for prosperity, abundance, and long-term goals and changes. But Aries is like a big Christmas tree going up in a big ball of fire, but then it's done. It's not going to warm you for an extended period unless you burn the town down. Don't do that. Candle spells are especially effective right now. Oh, thank you. Okay, so the Druid lunar calendar considers this moon the Ivy moon. Interesting. And like I was saying before, blood moon is another name of it. So basically, during the blood harvest or leaf falling moon, release old patterns and clear away emotional/psychic debris. Do spells to help you let go of whatever or whoever is standing in the way of your dreams fulfillment. This is a time to remember and honor loved ones who moved on to another realm of existence. So that's a really important aspect of this too. We're still in the dark half of the year when they're releasing year, right? So releasing old patterns, clearing away emotional debris. That's going to be a lot of the work that I'm doing, because of the trauma that we've been through recently. So, Margie, some people do consider it the harvest moon. It is one of the names. So, like I read, blood, harvest, hunter, ivy moon. There's tons of names for it. For myself, personally, I believe that the harvest moon is in September, and that this moon is the blood moon, and that the next moon is the blue moon. But whatever resonates with you, whatever feels best for you, whatever floats your boat, Margie, do that. That's the best thing to do. So the full moon marks a time of culmination. It allows you to start seeing the results of whatever you began in the new moon. Want to bring a project to a successful conclusion, receive rewards, recognition, or payments that are due to you? Perform a spell while the moon is full for best results. Its bright glow puts you in the spotlight. If your goal is to attract attention from a lover, boss, or the public, the full moon illuminates you favorably. The full moon can also shine light on secrets and deception to help you get the truth of a murky situation. So, good things to do when the moon is in Aries: confront obstacles and adversaries. Work intentions are like courage, competition, starting new ventures, vitality, and masculine virility. You can definitely start new ventures, but please consider that Aries is about starting things, but things started in Aries don't really have staying power. You're going to have to renew your intention again in a more stable sign, right? And if you really want to do that, Taurus is actually the best. Taurus is the bull. He is steadfast. He is stubborn. He will go through with his action. If it kills him, he will go through with it. And there's a lot of signs like that. So you don't necessarily have to specifically wait till Taurus. I mean, there's tons of them, but keep that in mind when you're starting a new venture. Oh, cool. That's really cool. I think that now's the perfect time of year to work with dark deities. I personally don't really say things like, I mean, I say the light half of the year and the dark half of the year because physically we're talking about the sun, its movements. But as far as good and bad, I don't like to say light and dark. I find that a little bit like, why is dark bad? I just don't like the color association. Some people say southpaw. I really just I don't like to think of magic in terms of good and evil, because most things I believe are shades of gray. But I do think that dark deities are actually, a lot of them are very healing, very empowering, very vital for wholeness. So, oh, that's wonderful, Megan. My son is an Aries moon. So stubborn. So he is, well, he's a Capricorn and an Aries. So the goat and the ram. So he's definitely a challenging little dude, but he's very smart. And then, of course, his rising is Leo. So he's very flamboyant and theatrical. My husband, it tickles him to death because he's married to a Leo, and he now feels like I get a little bit of what it's like to deal with another Leo. So constant reassurance is the name of the game if you love a Leo. So that was from the Modern Witchcraft Grimoire. I don't know if I said it before, but the first book I did was Solitary Witchcraft by Silver Ravenwolf, which is a great book, I believe. Some people do not. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Same, Jennifer. I don't consider myself like light. Oh, I used to think of the Good Witch or the White Witch, but I just am. I'm whole. I'm not one or the other, because all people are both. So I'm just whole, or I try to be. I'm going to light an incense, and then we're going to look at the almanacs. And I have quite a few. And for those of you who are wondering, yes, I'm going to do a big almanac review probably in November or December. It depends, because some of my almanacs are indie or Kickstarters or very small companies, and with all of COVID happening, the printing might be delayed. When I have them all, I will do it, and it'll be really fun. I hope you guys enjoy that. So let's start with the one that I really, this is a great almanac. I don't use it very much for Esbat, but what I like to do is they have a calendar of days. And on some of the spots in the calendar, they have like little enigmatic messages. And I like to pay attention to that because I feel like the universe, spirit, ancestors, everything is constantly bombarding you with information and warnings and intuition opportunities and just things that they need you to know. But most of us are so busy grinding out our days that we don't get those. And so I try to be more cognizant by looking at these little enigmatic messages. So between now and the full moon on the 28th, tomorrow, it says stop gossip. That's always good. Try not to do that. Gossip is never, not never, rarely helpful. On the 30th, use your strength. On the 1st is a blood moon. On the 4th, have gratitude. On the 6th, forgive yourself, which is a great time because the moon is waning, right? On the 8th, use a process. The 12th, and this is all October, guys, details matter. Of course, the moon is in Virgo on the 12th, so yes, details matter. And then on the 15th, share your peace. And we'll be back at the new moon then, and I'll read more. So basically, I think that it's really about being cognizant of yourself and your mind frame, which I feel like sometimes challenging when life gets really hard. Oh. I'm in Cancer. My sister's. Yeah, but Cancers can be so moody. I'm a book hoarder too. So this one is my first year getting this one, and I cannot wait to buy it again. This almanac was so good, information, so helpful. So what I will say is I collect almanacs, and most of the time I'm not actually using them as an almanac because I have an app for that, right? I'm using them because they're full of articles and information, and those things are eternal for the most part. Some things that are not quite inclusive or racially sensitive or like not very helpful are not, but I haven't really had that problem very much. Llewellyn, which I get a lot of almanacs from Llewellyn, is trying to be more inclusive and to be more racially diverse, and that's actually been working for the better. And I can tell because I can hear the different cultures in their voices when they write, right? But this one is really like very inclusive, lots of information, super fun. I can't wait to buy it again. I highly recommend it to you. It's the Practical Witches Almanac. And they have tons of information in here, and it's got like little planner pages, so I have used it a bit for planning, but mostly I use it for the information. And what I would like to tell you guys, and I'll go into it more when I do the planner thing, but just really briefly, is every month they give you like a little lesson plan that you can follow, like different things, different tarot cards, different stones, different herbs, all of those things that you can look into. And just like, I think it's just nice to have, like, if you wanted to, now would be a good time to look into this and this and this and this. And if it speaks to you, do it. But a lot of the times I feel like not just baby witches, but all witches are like, oh, I don't know where to go from here. Or there's so much witchy 101 information, but there's no really, I don't know how to dive deeper. And especially when you're an intermediate witch, you're too advanced for a lot of these concepts, but you're not quite to the point where you want to sit and read the Witch's Bible cover to cover, which is great. I did it, but it's heavy. It's heavy. It's nice because it gives you prompts that might encourage you to take a deeper dive into something that catches your interest. And that's the main thing that I can advocate, is that if you have got your basics down and you're like, what do I do next? What interests you, and dive into it. And then you'll think of something else that interests you, or then you'll want to learn more about this aspect of the thing. So for me, I've always loved astrology and tarot or divination decks, right? And so diving into astrology has been super helpful and informative, and there's so much, and it's so broad. And then you start diving into like symbolism and correspondences, and that's just how it evolved for me. And because I was in the closet so long, a lot of it was mythology, because mythology and fairy tales and those kind of things were acceptable in my house. And so you get all these stories, and really the archetypes and the tropes and the things that are in divination and that are really key to our collective conscious and our understanding of life as human beings are in mythology, because that's how these people understood these massive concepts: love, betrayal, honor, dignity. Like, stories like that are really important for the fabric of humanity, but they're also very magical. So that's one of the things that I also did very young, was read all the mythology stuff I could get my hands on. But I digress. What I wanted to say was, they do this thing where they tell you what days are particularly lucky for finding things, especially in nature. And so I was very lucky, because every time I've seen this, I've been trying to get out in nature and find things. And I was able to find fossils a couple months ago. I think, yes, ADD is probably very challenging, because I hear that it's hard to stick with a topic. But I don't think you have to. And I think that that's one of the nice things about the almanacs, is because you get a brief dive into a topic, and it's just an article. So then you read an article and you come back to the rest of the book as needed, but you don't need to remember or really memorize or hold in your head what has happened before, because each of the articles stand alone, right? Thank you, Uncle Badger, for coming much. It was nice to have you. So I want to say, if you're looking for something in nature, the 1st is a good day. Thursday the 1st is a good day. The next time is going to be the new moon, which is the 16th, and the day after, the 17th. But for right now, if you're looking for a wand, if you're looking for rocks, if you just are looking for animals or mushrooms. Oh, wonderful. I love mythology. No, I think he means it's unfortunate that he has to go. But that's one of the things that I love about this book, because I have never seen that in a book before. And so if you can, get outside on the 1st, and maybe something will come to you. The moon sign book is really good for Esbats, just because of all the information about Esbats in it. I'm pulling up the information. I will have it. Just 1 second. Okay, so an Aries moon. The energy of an Aries moon is masculine, dry, barren, and fiery. And it goes into all of those details because I also plant by the moon. And so it's not ideal to plant in Aries because it's barren, right? But it's good for like weed destruction and pest control and things like that. But I digress. Aries provides great startup energy, but things started at this time may be the result of impulsive action that lacks research or necessary support. Aries lacks staying power. Use this assertive, outgoing moon sign to initiate change, but have a plan in place for someone to pick up the reins when you're impatient to move on to the next thing. Work that requires skillful, but not necessarily patient use of tools, like cutting down trees, hammering, is appropriate in Aries. Expect things to occur rapidly, but also to quickly pass. If you are prone to injury or accidents, exercise caution and good judgment in Aries-related activities. It's ruled by Mars. The impulse is action, and it rules the head and the face. There's more. So that's just the basic energy. It also has a forecast for this specific moon. And for this specific moon, full moon in Aries, Thursday, October 1st. Since Mars in Aries is deep in a retrograde, which it is, Mars is retrograde in Aries right now. And it's gonna, no, it doesn't last through the year. It ends, let me see, I have it marked on my book of shadows here. What date does it end? It ends Mars goes direct on November 13th. So we still got about a month and a half of it left, okay? Flirtation and romantic do-si-doing could come up with these Aries moons. Are you fixated on someone not your type? Does this amuse you? Bear in mind, this is the Hunter moon, so another could be fixating on you. So if you're an Aries, your charisma is at full strength, but your irritability could show if your patience is tried. If you're a Taurus, find a project to finish quickly as your attention span may dwindle. If you're a Gemini, loudmouths seek you out. Do they make you laugh? You're caught than their peers, and this full moon may bring youngins to your door. Leo, spend time with dear friends or more jejun. Virgo, you'll resist being hurried and demand the time you need. Libra, feeling vulnerable, review diet and health choices. Scorpio, children or the childlike seek you out or need your protection. Sagittarius, take chances and move quickly. Capricorn, easy to get the wrong idea. Investigate if things aren't as they should be. Aquarius, encourage others to be brave. You're a great cheerleader. And Pisces, put your shoulder to the wheel. Huge effort pays off. So that's pretty good information. I'm excited about that. Now we have one of my very favorite is the Spiritual Lune Planner. I've gotten this for years. So I'm trying to find the day that we're on. Trying to find the moon cycle that we're on because I'm kind of behind due to life. Hello, life. Okay, so they consider this the blood moon. And so themes, honoring ancestors and the past, which is always a great idea, but particularly this time of year. Cycles of life, death, and rebirth, karma and reincarnation, underworld transformation, and Samhain. Full moon week. The full blood moon in Aries takes place on October 1st. The blood moon is the first full moon of the autumn season, and with her beauty, we can all feel the shift into the darker season ahead. The veil is beginning to noticeably lift as we can feel that the harvest is withering. This is an active full moon with lots of excitement brewing under the surface. The Aries energy stirs up our inspiration towards movement. Your instincts and intuition will be sharp, but your sense of patience may be lacking. This is a great time for brainstorming or working on the projects that fill you with inspiration. Venus enters Virgo from October 2nd to October 27th. This is a time where we feel like expressing our love through a more practical and logical approach. Spend time with your partner and see what they might be needing that they haven't been speaking up about. Pluto goes direct into Capricorn on the 4th of October, triggering transformation and rebirth. Pluto's retrogrades put us through what feels like the life, death, and rebirth cycle. Pluto is now going direct since April of last year. You might be facing a rebirth right now or are about to experience one. I got it from Spirit de la Lune. The link is in the description box. And their 2021 planner is going to go on pre-sale on October 1st, and you best believe I will be getting one. So it's the Spirit de la Lune. I've gotten every year. It is gorgeous. It's in the Spirit de la Lune is in the description bar, and there is a deck I'm going to show you guys in a little bit. And I've had it for years, but I love it. So the weekly gem is labradorite. Labradorite is a stone of magic, power, and alchemy. It helps facilitate massive transformation and integrate these energies into your psyche. Place this stone on your third eye under the blood moon and let it work its magic. So that's a tip for you guys, an idea. And let's see. I'm going to go through this. This is the correspondences. I like to go through this last because it's more like a list of bullet points. And it's nice to have the information just like in paragraphs at first so you can get it. Not that I think that you guys don't get it. I'm just saying, like, it's almost like a review at the end if we do this book last. It's not really last. I'm going to do the decks soon. Astrological and time reckoning. So Aries energy. So the best day is Tuesday. It's really a spring/summer energy. It's ruled by Mars and the Sun. The runes are Ewas and Feo. I'm not saying those correctly. I'm sorry. The element is fire. The energy is yang, but that can also be masculine or directive. So there's a fly in here. Bless its heart. The colors are pink, red, white, and yellow. The chakras are root, solar plexus, and brow. The number is 1. The tarot card's the Emperor, but I also think that the Aries card is also the Fool, but that's my personal opinion. The trees are alder, blackthorn, cherries, cedar, fir, hawthorn, holly, juniper, locust, olive, palm, dragon's blood, pine, and willow. Other plants are anemone, angelica, basil, blackberry and bramble, broom, carnation, dandelion, fennel, garlic, geranium, gorse, honeysuckle, marjoram, peppermint, rosemary, and thyme. Allspice, betony, blessed thistle, cinnamon, clove, coriander, cowslip, cumin, deer's tongue, frankincense, galangal, ginger, mustard, nettle, and pepper. Gemstones and minerals are fire agate, Apache tears, aquamarine, aventurine, bloodstone, carnelian, citrine, diamond, emerald, garnet, hematite, herkimer diamond, jade, jasper, red jasper, lapis lazuli, fire opal, clear quartz, ruby, sardonyx, and spinel. The metals are gold, iron, and steel. Sea stuff is coral. Goddesses are Anat, Bab, Sabili, Durga, Hecate, Hestia, Ishtar, Macha, Minerva, the Morrigan, Sekhmet, and Tiamat. Gods are Amun, Ares, Belenus, Indra, Kum, Marduk, Mars, Nergal, and Ra. The angel is Michael, the archangel. Animals are goat and the ram. Birds are red-tailed hawk, magpie, owl, robin, and woodpecker. And intentions, issues, or powers you should focus on are action, ambition, anger, assertiveness, beginnings, business, confidence, courage, desire, emotions, energy, fear, growth, independence, jealousy, leadership, vitality, lust, needs, obstacles, optimism, passion, pleasure, pregnancy, childbirth, sex, virility, and warmth. On the full moons are associated with Beltane. The rune is Odal. The chakras are root. The colors are red and green. Plants are sandalwood. Metal is silver. Goddess is Ariana. The magical are the Fates and the Norns. Animal is the cow, panther, tiger, wolf. Birds are the snow goose and peacock. So intentions that you might consider with the full moon are abundance, accomplishment, action, activation, awakening, beauty, business, creativity, divination, emotions, empowerment, psychic energy in general, fertility, goals, growth, healing, illumination, inspiration, light, love, general magic, moon magic, sex magic, manifestation, money, needs, nurturing, power, pregnancy and childbirth, problems, protection, psychic ability, relationships, romance, sex, sexuality, strength, transformation, and wisdom. The full moon in October is called Blood Harvest or Hunter's Moon. The colors are black and blue. The gemstones are aquamarine, garnet, kunzite, morganite, opal, sapphire, and tourmaline. Coral. Issues, intentions, and powers for this specific moon: courage, healing, inspiration, memory, stability. And I think that covers it for this one. Yes, that covers it for this one. But that was still a lot of information, right? So then my decks. I have decks listed, and in the description, I'll start with the ones that I really don't use very often, which is the astrological deck. It has some information, but I found it to be not suited to my needs. I don't really get a lot out of it. So as I collect more and more decks, it's very few cards, first of all. And I'm thinking of selling this one. So that's probably going to go for sale, either on my Facebook, probably on my Facebook or my webpage, just because, you know, I think it might be really helpful for somebody else. I don't use them in divination at all. The only time I even pull them out is to kind of like glance at them. Also, I'm not fond of Art Nouveau style per se, but there's not a single person of color in this deck, which it's fine for some people and it's fine for some decks and tropes, but it doesn't sit well with me. Archetypes and astrology and these big concepts of the collective conscious belong to everybody. And there's no reason in the 21st century why we can't have multicultural decks. So that's another problematic thing for me. And I do find that Los Corabro is not very good at diversity, but they do have beautiful decks. And for the right person, that's totally great. But I'm just saying, for my money, not happening. So the way that the deck is arranged is that it just has like the planet and the zodiac sign, which I don't feel like that's quite in depth enough for what I'm trying to do with it. But just it is what it is. So Aries is the ram. The element is fire. The planetary ruler is Mars. The motto is I am. Natural leader of the zodiac, Aries brings a fiery force of will to every endeavor. The impulse to rush headlong into any situation can bring great success when tempered with reason, but rash impetuosity can lead to hard lessons learned. Aries is dashing, forceful, and a bold risk taker. And so then it talks about planetary bodies, and it talks briefly about the houses, and then most of this book is just because it's 3 languages. So the end of the information in this book that seems like it has a ton of information is, let me see, is here. So this much is information. The rest is repeated in different languages. So beautiful deck, lovely art, just not for me. But if you're interested, it's probably going to be for sale pretty cheap on my Facebook / website pretty soon. Okay. So it's got to be this one. So I'm trying to find little bags for my decks because the boxes are kind of bulky and big. This deck is very nice. It's the Queen of the Moon deck by Stacey DeMarco. I like it. It doesn't always agree with my other decks. It's a little bit different, and that is what it is. So I will say that we are trying to find the correct moon, because the card for this moon is just beautiful. So give me a second. Oh, here it is. Isn't that just divine? It's the Hunter's Moon. So beautiful. It's a beautiful card. And then let me find the full moon card, which I think I passed the full moon card because it's like a woman. Yep. It is. It's a beautiful deck. It's a beautiful deck. My only pet peeve, and it's not her fault, is that they're glossy, and I don't like glossy decks. And there's no edging. But a lot of people love to edge their own decks, so that's not really a huge problem. It's not really a huge problem. At this point, I'm just being persnickety. So let me read to you about the energy of the full moon. So this is the full moon card. The word is power. Step into your true power, shine brightly. Do not hide who and what you are. The time is right to attract big things for yourself. Ancestral energy is important. Open your mind to larger possibilities. Big magic can be wrought. I have power. It is real. Period. You have power. You're important. This is important for you to never forget. You have power. Always. Always. And that was hard during the catastrophe because a lot of times you feel helpless and powerless and completely out of control. And at that point, you have power, but maybe the best use of your power is to surrender, to go with the flow. And then when you have a chance and things get more normal, reclaim it. So go outside on a clear night and look up. Hopefully, you'll see the stars are twinkling. If you are really lucky, you might see the swirling Milky Way spilling across the darkness. And then there she is, the big full moon, unmistakable in her glory and power. She moves the earth itself, stabilizes it into orbit. She releases and pulls the seas. She is the object of devotion, the inspiration of poems, the realm of goddesses, and she has witnessed the very first of us rise up on two legs and venerate her. Since our inception, we have stood barefoot under the same moon, wishing, setting intentions, dancing, and drawing her graceful power. You are made of the very swirling matter that is the stuff of stars. You are pure possibility, changing constantly, renewing, and transforming. Take this moment to recognize that power and rejoice in it, for your next step is the precursor to your future self. Beautiful. I like that. That was very meaningful. Here we are. This card is just so beautiful. Look at the fox. She's got a fox here and the coloring. It looks like autumn incarnate. It's so pretty. Abundance. Take advantage of this time of abundance. It is all around you. Possibility and opportunity are everywhere. You are open and responsive to the abundance around you. There is enough for everyone. I am abundant and I am surrounded by opportunity. The hunter moon is the traditional moon of plenty. It was when game was at its most plentiful, so the people would not go hungry. The moon was large and bright in the sky, and in some cases deep orange. And there was a great deal of, sorry, my notes, it's just deal of light to go hunting well into the evening. Our ancient ancestors couldn't just go off to the supermarket to buy what they needed to eat. Meat didn't come on trays wrapped in plastic. Eggs were gathered. Warm clothing was made from skins of the same animals that were hunted for meat. Nothing was wasted. This abundance was part of a cycle just like any other. It wasn't present all the time, so this time of year was to be taken advantage of while the going was good. The barrenness of winter would soon return. Hunters had to be prepared. They had to have their weapons ready and their tracking skills honed. As modern people, we are less used to these natural cycles of plenty and barrenness because most of us have stepped away from growing food and the natural environment. However, these cycles are still there, even if we are not a part of them consciously. This moon normally rises in October in the northern hemisphere, and so was before the winter snows. Beautiful. So I love that deck. The information, I feel like this time was on point. There's only a couple months where I'm kind of like, that's not really what I'm getting. But everything is different. So then we have this beautiful Moonology deck. She has books, she has planners, she has all sorts of stuff. It's a really great deck. It's a really great system. So I do recommend it to you. Let me find the appropriate cards that I'm looking for. So these are more my style because I have a lot more cards and combinations and information. I feel like that's really important for me because I want to really dive into the flavors of the moons because the full moon. Yeah. Hi, Mama. I love you too. You figured out how to make messages, Mom. Good for you. That's awesome. So fancy. Trying to find the dang cards. Ah, full moon, which is pretty. I love it. Of course, it's like the full moon and, uh-oh. Why can't I find the full moon in Aries? That's bizarre. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go through the whole deck again. Oh my gosh. Did it stick to something? Where is this? Full moon in Taurus. Full moon in Aries. I missed it. Dang, yo. So that's pretty. Make sure there's not any other pertinent. I don't think we're having a super moon. So it's a full moon. It's a full moon in Aries. There's no eclipses. It's not a blue moon. It's not a super moon. So, okay. So, we start off with the information about the full moon in general. Surrender to the divine. The very word climax brings all sorts of ideas and images to mind. Agreed? But it really is the feeling of this card. Life is coming to a head, a point, a conclusion, or a turning point. There may be some kind of change and possibly even some sort of emotional explosion. Tune into your emotions now and see what they are telling you. They're very likely close to the surface, no matter when in the moon cycle you've pulled this card. Matters will soon conclude, and you'll find out whether or not your wishes are going to come true. The odds are in your favor, as this is a positive card, but you may need to work harder than usual to keep cool as events unfold. Attuned to the moon. I am getting the answers I need. Additional meanings. I wish you made is about to come true. It's make or break time. There could be a sense of madness in the air. Breathe deeply and stay calm. You may need to forgive someone to release negative energy. It's time to let go of the past and move on. The teaching. The full moon marks the climax of the lunar cycle, making this card something of a power card. The full moon is hard at any time in the lunar cycle, suggests answers will be coming your way before too long. So that's good. And then specifically, a full moon in Aries. A fiery climax approaches. It's time to see if you've been a little too much me. There's a tug of war going on between what you want and what someone else wants, but you'll have to wait a little while to see what's going to happen next. As you wait, ask yourself if you've been handling the situation as sensitively as you could have done. If you know deep down that you've been a little rash or harsh, gone too fast, or overstepped the mark, then accept that on some level you created this situation yourself, which means you can create your way out of it too. When this card comes up, a peak is coming, and it could be fiery. Be nice, be kind, smile, and be polite as you navigate to where you want to be. Being assertive is good. Just don't ride roughshod over anyone. If you're in a tense situation, meditate your way to peace. Don't be a baby. Sorry, but this could be an issue. You need to have more fun. The full moon in Aries is a super fiery time when emotions can run very high. On the upside, there's excitement about what may lie ahead, but tempers are likely to flare with rash comments or decisions. No matter when you pull this card, it signals that the situation has just, or rather heated way. There could be a price to pay if you have been too competitive or too blunt. So I just thought of something. So my work is offering a debriefing after the fires for us to like emotionally check in, and if we need help, get there, connect with a therapist, right? And so that's going to be on the full moon, which as healthcare workers, the full moon is definitely a challenging time anyway. We have lots more people, tempers run high. It's really true. Ask any not just nurses, but doctors, nurses, emergency personnel, law enforcement. People get wild on the full moon for whatever reason. That's why lunacy comes from Luna. So let's see. Hopefully that'll go well, because I have been really angry, and I can be really blunt, and I can be extremely fiery and passionate. And so hopefully I will not alienate others in my anger and pain about this situation. So it's a good reminder. I'm glad that I read that, and I hope that I remember that the day of, because sometimes you know that certain situations are potentially volatile, and you forget in the moment and you just while out. I've done it often. So just a gentle reminder. So this is my Spirit de la Lune deck. I love it because it's round and it's beautiful. And look at that. The first card that I pulled was a blood moon, which means rebirth. Let's find our... Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Let's find our other cards. We're looking for... We have our full moon here. Fulfillment. And let's find our... Yeah, I bet, Jennifer. I'm so scared. My little boy starts kindergarten virtually tomorrow, and I hope, please God, don't let me mess him up for life. All right, and then here's Aries, the Inspirer. Kind of sad that he doesn't get the kindergarten experience. But that's just another thing that I gotta give to the divine release, because there's nothing to change it. It just feels painful. But we don't talk about that, do we? I feel like when you try to express those feelings of like disappointment and just like serious concern about the state of affairs for our children, you get shut down pretty quickly, which this is my channel. There's no shutting anybody down. But I think instead of shutting people down, we should really lean into what they're scared and upset about. But I digress. I don't feel uncomfortable teaching. I mean, a huge portion of my job as a nurse is teaching, is educating patients, and I feel that, but I'm not a kindergarten teacher. And part of kindergarten is playing and singing and painting and getting messy and story time and circle time and being with other kids. And it's just like, it's hard because we live rural and we only have one child. So the kid time is really probably the most challenging, is the fact that he wants to connect and play with other kids and have friends. And that's really hard in this environment. And little kids don't understand about virology. So the blood moon, rebirth. The darker half of the year is approaching with the blood moon on the horizon. Energy turns inward and is ebbing, and ebbing is necessary right now. The harvest is now withering, and new seeds can be found for the year ahead. The old must die to sustain new life. You are in deep transition right now. Transformation and emergence will be unfolding in your life soon. For now, the spiral of energy is coming back down to Gaia, deep in her soil, and into the caverns of the underworld. Death energy is necessary to bring in life energy. Balance can be restored, but allow yourself to rest in this darkness. Retreat in the womb of Gaia to integrate these new changes within your soul. Ancestral connections can emerge so you can heal old wounds and shift the trajectory of your lineage. That's really important. Ancestral healing is really important. Shadow. The only certain thing in life is change. You are resisting the inevitable. Surrender and trust can be one of the hardest lessons to learn, but true freedom can be found in the unknowing. Surrender in the cycle and you will find peace. Honor your ancestors and past. Learn from the cycles of life, death, and rebirth, karma and reincarnation, thinning of the veil, underworld, transformation, Samhain. Surrender to what is. Allow transformation to take place. Create an ancestor altar. Reflect on lessons and victories. Find your seeds of wisdom. Focus on root and crown chakras. Gemstones apophyllite, bloodstone, garnet, labradorite, obsidian, and shungite. This is the blood moon card from the Spirit de la Lune deck. Then we have so this is my favorite moon deck. Easily favorite, hands down. It's wonderful, in my humble opinion. Then we have the card. Aries is the inspirer. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac and initiates the spring season. The ram is ruled by Mars, and this fiery sign inspires and ignites life all around them. An Aries being is compelled by their passions and is ruled by instinct. The shadow side can lead to fits of tantrums, bring the ego to the forefront, and selfishness can lead their actions. Regardless, Aries reminds us to live in the moment and embrace new possibilities. Be prepared to ride this newfound energy you have. You may feel extra motivated to follow your passions and meet your goals. The fire has been ignited. Flow with this momentum and let the inspirer take the reins. You may feel impatient while you build the momentum you need, but do not let that discourage you. Focus on the progress you are making and let the excitement fuel your drive. On the shadow side, do not let your impatience and anger get the best of you. Make sure any impulsive actions you take do not lead to negative consequences. Find a healthy outlet to release your anger. When the moon is full in Aries, use this energy to manifest your goals. And then finally, the full moon in general. Full moon, fulfillment. I embody my magic. I embody my womb. I embody the power of this full moon. The luminous full moon is a wonder gold. She emerges at the sunset, large, round, and voluptuous. There is more marine and animal activity in nature. Creatures are awakening, wildness is blooming. There is an awakening in the ocean of your cells. The waters in your body are churning like the ocean created by the pull of the full moon. Honor the strong emotions rising up to the surface. You are in high tide. Everything is amplified right now for good or bad. You are being asked to fulfill your desires, or if they have been, bask in this new state of being. Completion is yours, but remember, this opportunity will not last long. The full moon allows only glimpses of her power and magic. Imitate the moon and embrace the mystery within you. Let her live through your cells and embody the magic expressed through your unique luminosity. Surround yourself with other mild magical beings and howl at the moon together. The magic you build will create more fuel to fulfill your desires. On the reversal, your emotions are in overdrive. Do not work against the current of your energies because that will only drain you further. Give yourself compassion and a break. You cannot be everywhere and everything to everyone. Fulfill what you want to fulfill. Come back into your body with a bath or stand under the moonlight and breathe. You will find your center once again. Perform a full moon ceremony. Take a salt bath. Cleanse and charge your crystals and decks under the moonlight. Draw down the moon into your body. Step into compassion. Honor your energy. Completion is yours. Celebrate with your tribe. So great. I love this deck. I think they have like their third or fourth reprinting. So if anybody's interested, you can just go to the Spirit de la Lune link and it should be there. All right. So let's see what we got. I have my last deck. This is actually a really good one. The Black Moon Astrology card is very, very astrology heavy. Lots and lots of good information. Lots of card combinations. It's not as big as this. It is glossy. But it is what it is. Hold on, I'm finding the appropriate cards. Aries. I am. I think that's it because we don't really have any. Yeah, that's it. There's a lot more to it. So like there's planets, zodiac signs, houses, and then some special like astrological things like grand trine signs and stuff like that. But that's not really pertinent right now. I just want to finish. This is really nice because it gives you like another revision of like the energy that we're facing with Aries, right? The Aries card says it's okay to push now. Just don't push too hard. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and the energy of this card is that of a dynamic trailblazer. Aries is the fire of creation. This means Arians can be highly creative. Since they are impatient, they are also blunt and to the point. They make no effort to pretend to be something other than what they are, which in their eyes is number one. Everyone needs to understand this. Arians tend to be genuine people who are not into playing games. They like matters to move fast. Since Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, it is represented by the primal human, one who must protect and defend. Aries people are highly ambitious and want to accomplish things quickly and in a no-nonsense way. Competition is what Aries is all about. Many feel the need to compete when the other party doesn't even care to. Traditionally, Aries is a warrior sign, which means being always on the defensive, ready for action. The Aries style of relating is that of a catalyst using force, not of a peacemaker. They're interested in sports, and a number of Arians have a fascination with weapons. When this card turns up, expect things to move fast, for there is no time to take it step by step. It will all be a mad jump. It may be time of testing your will. You will work best in situations where you make your own decisions rather than acting as an underling. You may even find a supporting cast to help you finish your work. Be responsible and disciplined in all of your actions. You will want to get things started and forge ahead. Do not buckle under the dramas or trivialities of others. This card marks a period where you are forceful and headstrong. You can now forge a direction or path as you have the vision and energy to do so at this time. In love affairs, you will want to take the lead. You may attract spontaneous and enthusiastic lovers. Be ready to reach new plateaus. There may be the opportunity for more than one lover. Don't even think it. Don't do it, Desi. It's not worth your death. Be advised to think. He would not. I'm just kidding. Be advised to think beyond acting with aggression, especially in emotional dramas. In relationships, you and your partner will expect total freedom. However, avoid being quick-tempered, because when this card turns up, there is a need for caution. Be steady and measured rather than hot-blooded and impulsive. This marks a time where you need to be sensitive to the concerns of others, since you will want to move fast and strong without thinking things through. You may find yourself running into walls. You will not want to compromise right now, but you should do just that. Sometimes it's conflicts. Sometimes it's best to allow bygones to be bygones and let it go. Any fighting or conflicts will not serve you at this time. In fact, it may poison the waters and make it worse. Care must be taken not to be too foolish or rash. However, it's time to work for a cause and get things started. Just make sure you finish what you start. So basically, it's kind of reiterating what we said, and that there's going to be a lot of energy right now, and you may be tempted to be short-tempered, blunt, angry, and that's not good right now, because you got to keep in mind that we may be having a full moon in Aries with all that energy, but the sun is in Libra, and that's about partnerships and relationships. And so I think that with that energy, there's a good Aries is good energy, just like fire is good tool when harnessed correctly. But you want to warm people, not right. You don't want to burn our bridges, or if you do, I mean, burn it down. But the smell's gone from that candle. You may not want to burn those bridges just yet, so probably be careful. Anyways, that was so much information. I think for myself, I'm probably going to focus on release and healing and letting go of what doesn't serve me. And I'm going to be conscious of using this initiating energy for good, but also being very cognizant of not burning and hurting my loved ones with this energy, with my energy, because pain energy and all of these impulsive, quick, fast, blunt, short-tempered energies can be harmful to those who love me and who want to help. So that's what I'm getting. I'm getting a lot of that. I think that I'm definitely not gonna start anything right now, but I'm gonna release and let go and burn up the things that no longer serve me figuratively. Or maybe I'll write it down. That's actually a very good practice for releasing, and this is a good moon to do it. I just have to do it safely and like probably not in front of my husband because he's really not into fire at the moment. So if you have like a fire pit, or if you have like a big cauldron or whatever, you might consider writing a list of all the things that you want to release, or all the things that are not serving you, or all the pain or terrible things in your life. And be careful not to like write people's names, because you don't want to burn people's names. I mean, that's just my opinion. Maybe you do you, but burn what doesn't serve you and let it go. Release it. I think it's what I'm going for. Anyways, thoughts, guys? There's still 12 of you left. Sorry, I'm trying to check and see if I have missed. Hold on. Sorry, I have like sorry. I try to do bay leaf burning sometimes for moon rituals every once in a while. That's a really good idea. Keats of Hecate. I think of I can definitely see that. I like to do them. I think they're nice for wishes, but they're also really protective, so that would be a really good thing too. Sorry, I have to. Okay. That is true. That is true. I would definitely consider that. I mean, also, so you have fire and air, right? So a nice ritual for release, a nice ritual for release, and it might be something that I do, is to take a piece of paper and cover it with like, or maybe even do like a timed exercise where I just write all the things that I want to let go of and not think about them, just try to write continuously for a certain amount of time. Or I might just make a list of the things that are hurting me, or try to just whatever. And once you have that list, ritually burn it, and then disperse it in some kind of airway. Or you might also follow that up with some cleansing, with smoke cleansing, sage, cedar, dragon's blood, whatever it is that you want to cleanse with. So that might be a nice double whammy, harnessing both the fire and air. A candle spell. You might want to take all those things that you want to release and fold them up and put them under the candle and then burn the candle, which would be great. And then dispose of that however you. So there's elemental ways to dispose of your spell remnants, right? You can throw them in running water carefully. Please be careful with animals. You can bury them. You can burn them. You can let the wind take them. So I think that for me, I definitely think a release and cleanse is in order. So that's what I'm thinking. Thank you guys. Unless there's any questions. Oh, I wanted to do Halloween, but we struck. I mean, of course, we're going to do Halloween, but I wanted to check out Halloweeny stuff, and we kind of struck out. I didn't like anything they had at Joann's. I got a couple little things at Craft Warehouse, and last week I got a whole bunch of stuff at Michael's. They're having a really good sale. If you want to get to Michael's, it's half off all their Halloween stuff. But I haven't made it to like Dollar Tree, and I went to Spirit Halloween, and it was just like not very good. So I definitely am looking for candles, Halloween candles. Like I did get a Santa Muerte candle. But I like skeleton candles, and I especially like when they have like the smells. Thank you, Margie. So definitely, but even if you just have like a chime candle, um, red or black or whatever color that you done, you can make it as big or as little as you want, right? You can have your paper folded up, put your candle on top of it, have your color match. Maybe you've scored it with a pin for a sigil of release and protection or banishment, or just like writing a word that's meaningful to you, putting an essential oil that also helps, burning it, disposing of the remnants, and then cleansing with smoke your home, your space. Thank you, Moonchrome. All right, guys, I'm actually hungry. So no worries, guys. Thank you for coming. Candle magic is really nice. It's just we're a little gun shy about fire right now. So I haven't been doing it as much as I normally would do. But I digress. I'm going to call it. Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you, Jenny. The chip plate witch hellier. That was really cool. I am going to eat. Yeah, Spirit was garbage this year. My God. Good night, Margie. Oh, Bumblebee Fern, don't worry. You can watch it again. Oh, thank you, Lori. You too. Um, there's lots of information, and you probably don't have to watch the first half hour. I can't remember what we were talking about, but I got off on a tangent. I don't know how it happens. I always do. It's just, oh, thank you, Bumblebee Fern. It's always nice to talk, to communicate with other like-minded individuals, and so there's often tangents. Yeah, fold away from the body. Exactly, Jennifer. That's very correct. And of course, banishment is winter shin. Definitely. Definitely. Lots to do. It's not to say that if you want a ritual bath, you can't. A ritual bath with beautiful candles and such is perfectly fine. And incense, then you still have your everything. But anyways, you guys have a wonderful day. Please, I posted a new blog post on Hound Dog Hollow. So check that out if you feel so inclined. The autumn equinox correspondences in the next day or two, as well as like I'm going to be posting my list of books that I have and my decks that I have there for those of you who are curious. And also I have a lot of deck reviews coming up because that's been kind of my thing this year is buying decks. And I just can't keep up with the reviews because I have so many, but I find it helps. I am particularly looking for the look of specific cards. And so when somebody goes through and shows me all the cards, that's really helpful for me when I buy decks. So I like to share those as well. Anyways, I love you guys so much. Please, if you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you haven't already, please check out my website, hounddoghollow.com. And thank you. Am I posting my books on here or Facebook? Oh, on my website, hounddoghollow.com. And I will be doing some book reviews in the future on my YouTube, just because I feel like I might even do them lives. I don't know. I'll have to think about it because I like lives in that the people who come can ask me questions specifically about what it is that you need to know about the information that I'm presenting, which is why I like lives. Lives are not anywhere near my most popular videos because it sometimes is really challenging for challenging format, and also the topic jumps around based on what people ask. However, I feel like as far as reviews go, except for decks, because decks, like I said, you want to see each image, and I have a definite opinion about it anyways. But books, Facebook, things, I'm going to have things for decks that I'm going to be letting go on Facebook or my webpage, which is hounddoghollow.com. So stay tuned for that. But as far as the book list, it's going to be on hounddoghollow.com, and my deck list is going to be there. And there'll be links to different deck reviews that I've already done, but I think I'm about 12 shy. So many. Anyways, I love you guys so much. You can always contact me here. You can go to my Hound Dog Hollow. I also have Instagram and Facebook, but of course, with everything going on, I have not been very active. So I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.